Hey, I'm Emeritus Brian from Table Knights Entertainment, and welcome to Talk 20 to Me, the final episode of this year's season. Aw, nostalgia, guys.
As
Except
we
there are
go
no guys
on,
or
we
girls. There's
remember
like five people who watch
all
this
the
show
time.
on a consistent basis.
Oh my dick.
Shut up. And we're four of those five people. That's the sad part. All right. No, but really, thanks to everyone who does watch, and if you're watching this in the future, thanks for joining us. And if you're watching this right now, thanks for joining us too. More so, I guess. I don't know. As always, in the description below, there is a link to Child's Play, our donation or our charity of choice. So please click on that. Give us your consideration and like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Donate to Child's Play. We love them. They're great. And finally, we are talking about general creation tips. It's a lax episode. Not any specific target audience. Just what can you do to help yourself be a better GM? Douglas, what's stuff that helps you to get those creative juices flowing?
Well, this is what I do on a daily average. I wake up, I look at myself in the mirror, realize how much of a piece of shit I am as a human
Oh
being.
God, no,
And
Doug,
then
Doug,
from there, I
just,
wake up, I
just
go
happened.
into my cupboard,
No, this
and
just
then I take
happened.
out a good bottle of rum. I
No,
drink that down until there's nothing left. Then I get vodka, and then I start drinking that down until there's nothing left. And
no,
then I get into my
no,
creative juices, and
no.
then I begin to work on my computer. From there, I start writing up the dungeons that could possibly affect the party. I weigh and outweigh the possibilities of them dying, and then realize what has a greater chance of them dying, but also a good chance of them surviving. Then I run some, quick little numbers after I've had about 3 bottles into it. I begin to cry very heavily, realizing that I have nothing better to do with myself. Once that is done, then I get a session up and going, and I have all my players come in. Usually, that's when I'm at the peak of my happiness because I'm not really happy. And then once that is done, I begin to cry until I go to sleep.
Doug, why? Doug, why? Why you do this on last episode? Alex, stop the pain.
Yeah, okay, I'll go. Okay, so this is coming from the perspective of a writer, which comes in handy being a DM.
Yes, learning your ABCs is a very important thing to DM.
Yeah, very much so. Um, a lot of the things that I mean, because a large part of putting together a successful campaign is being able to tell a cool narrative and putting in the elements that let you do a cool narrative. You know, like characters and plot devices and setting things in the background that you can pull on later to create a cool story. Um, if I were to give like a big tip, something that I think people should think about a little more, um, if you are, for example, doing a fantasy campaign and you're doing a fantasy world building or need to think of a fantasy story, if you are ever playing a video game that's fantasy or reading a book that's fantasy or watching a play that's fantasy, I don't know, whatever, all that can be put into your campaign. If you were playing a video game and you're like, oh, I should really be working on my campaign right now, do that then. Play that video game, look at the components of the game that you like, world building elements, characters, find out why you like those things, and either take them kind of wholesale from the game, or use those elements that make it good and apply it to your own thing. If you are consuming relevant media, you are not wasting your time at all, but you do have to actively do it.
You stole my thing, you son of a bitch. So yeah, Alec brings up a really good point. I go a little bit of a different route with how I explain it, but basically, don't be afraid to stand on the shoulders of giants is the big picture of that. Um, if you see something you like from another source, pluck it apart, make it your own thing, or don't. Just straight up copy and paste it. I mean, that's lazy, but it's not always about the most creative thing. A lot of times with RPGs in this scenario, it's about the most fun thing. Um, that being said, creativity is a lot of fun. I personally like to sit with like something going on in the background. I actually don't like silence. It confuses my thought process. Um, for me, whenever I put something on, it's something that I've seen or heard many, many, many times. So basically, it's just white noise at that point. Uh, if you're an alcoholic, don't go for alcohol, Doug.
I
But
just need somebody to hold me.
if you aren't, I mean, for me, I like to have a glass of scotch if I'm working on something like specifically difficult. Not like, enough to get crunk, but enough to loosen up. Um, and personally, I find that most of my inspiration comes from books. I also write a lot, but the best things that you could do overall is actually probably study, like, real world stuff. History is probably one of the biggest things that goes into creating your own campaign from scratch. Studying psychology is another huge component to being a really good DM because if you know how the human mind ticks, you can, flip those switches and get those ticks. Um, you just have to know. You just have to put the effort into it. If you're someone who likes mechanics building, then learning certain types of math is really helpful. It's a lot of what you're most looking for, but studying anything, honestly, is pretty helpful. The only thing I think that wouldn't help is studying the automotive. Oh no, see, if you study the DMV, then you'll know how to run hell. So there you go. That was a cheap joke, but still funny. I took it. Improv, doing drama stuff. That's really really good too, because if you do that, then you learn how to react without really thinking about it, and that helps to create a more narrative flow. Because if you're a DM and your character presents your players present you with a situation that you weren't necessarily prepared for, and you're sitting there thinking about what to do, which I've done that every once in a while, but it's less and less. Then that's going to break the flow of the game and cause you know disturbance at the table. But that's just even what I just said. That's a small part of all the different things that you can do to motivate yourself and learn. Gio, do you have anything that you do to motivate yourself creatively or inspire yourself?
Well, the best thing that I could give as any kind of hint or tip to a player in terms of becoming a DM is basically play the game. Like, know what you're getting yourself into before you jump in, because I have been a victim of several DMs who wanted to DM without any game experience with any kind of tabletop game period, and in all situations it has not gone well. So if you definitely are considering if you definitely are considering to DM and you want to put the effort and the money into it, by all means do so. But before you decide to start building worlds and playing gods, go online, look for groups, or go to your local nerd stores, look for groups. I swear to God, if they have tables, there are going to be people, but they're playing D&D. My,
If there
my
are tables, there will be tops.
yeah. So look around and find a campaign, and even if you're just going to do a one shot, even if you're going to do just like one night of it, just try to gain as much experience as a player before you want to go in and DM. Because if you just jump right into the DM side of the pool, you're going to sink straight to the bottom.
It's funny that you bring that up because that scenario is pretty true. Like I wanted to DM straight away, but luckily I got to play a lot beforehand. Although I still consider myself like really inexperienced when I first started DMing, even though I'd been playing for like a year and a half. But I mean, yeah, if I hadn't had that prior experience, I wouldn't know what the fuck I was doing. And don't be afraid to read the books. Like I think that I've read 1.0 at this point like 20 plus times, cover to cover, and I used to just read it for fun, like as an enjoyable afternoon activity, which you can say whatever you like about that and what it reflects on my life, but I consider it dedication. Winky wink.
I don't think it's all that uncommon for tabletop players to pick up a rule book or a world book and just kind of chill out with that.
Well,
It is
random people listening in, they probably wouldn't understand that feeling.
Mm.
random people out there in the internet. I plead to you. Anything can be used as a source material. Anything. I
Oh,
literally
is
mean
Serious
anything.
Doug? Has Serious Doug joined us? Because I was waiting for Serious Doug, and I was hoping Serious Doug would give us some serious tips earlier in the serious episode that isn't really serious, but he decided to seriously go down a serious dark path. So go ahead, Doug. Please continue. I'm sorry for interrupting you seriously.
No, it's perfectly fine. In fact, most great artists actually go through the same process I go through to make great miracles and work.
Oh,
But
fuck.
enough about that.
Jesus Christ.
So, let's go back to what really is important here. AIDS. What is it? No, I kid. As you
I
can see,
thought you
I
meant like
like to.
I thought you meant like creative aids, and I was like, oh, he's gonna do something serious. Damn it, Doug.
I am the best at being the worst. That's my whole purpose. Now, as you can see, as most people probably notice, I have a bookshelf of books, and this is actually one of out of 5 bookshelves that I own that I have that are just filled with not only books but also comics, history, novels, and things like that. And I like to draw inspiration from all of them. Some of them are you know, as spooky and scary as the Stephen Kings that I have here. Others are just like random novels that you will never hear of. But it's these kind of novels that also influence like the small little tidbits that I like to add into the world. Not to mention when we're playing video games or we're doing things like that. I know I generally tend to use a lot of comparison of video games in our chats, but it's because it's the best way I can, people who don't generally tend to play role, D&D style are better, will be able to better understand it. And I'm doing this so you can understand where all these things come from. Hell, if we look at, Julius Caesar, especially this one, the new No Fear edition, this is for all you people that are like me who can't understand Shakespeare for shit. This is pretty much dumbed down for you. Um, you can use just this simple book for a great story, a great dungeon design. As far as that goes, in terms of how what you do to create and involve yourself in making worlds, that is all up to you. Everyone has their own unique way of creating juice. Sure, sometimes it could involve me being to the point of near intoxication and slowly drowning in my own self pity, but
Oh,
everyone has a unique way of doing it. I mean, of course, hopefully you don't go that far. I pray you don't. It's not very good. Not good for anyone. No, very bad.
Okay,
Don't do it.
so yeah, moving on. um, it's been a real pleasure hosting Talk 20 with all of the different hosts that I have over the 20 episode season. 20 episodes, guys.
We've
Good
never had
job.
20 episodes? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. That's why it's called Talk 20 to me. Also the dice.
We've come full circle.
I wanted to say thank you to all the guys who've watched, all the guys who have participated in the show, anyone who subscribed and liked these videos and commented on them, anyone who's donated. If I ever meet you in real life,
You will get a PP touch.
no, I was gonna say I would shake your hand and hug you. I mean, if you're okay with the hug, but no pee-pee touch, Doug. I don't know where other people's pee-pees have been.
You will touch them.
Moving along, though. um, the future holds much. I hopefully will have a computer by next year where I can do editing, and with the magic of editing and actual recording software, we won't have to do these on a shitty live stream. Not that we don't love you, Google Hangouts, but let's be honest, you fuck up a lot. Um, and that being said, closing statements, guys. Alec, you start.
Excuse me, I'm yawning. Okay.
It's very late, by the way. He's not bored.
Yeah, it's 1 a.m. right now. So when it comes to creative stuff, building worlds, writing stories, try to actively take inspiration from the things that inspire you, because inspiration's not enough. You got to dig into that stuff and find out what about it makes it enjoyable to you, or what makes it inherently good, and stuff like that.
Giovanni.
I'd say gain your own experience before trying to start from the top. Honestly, it's common sense. You doing everything you do. No one's naturally the best at something when they start out, so it's better to learn what you can do and pick up from people who have that experience rather than to just dive in, because this is an experience that you're sharing with other people. And if you are piling tons of people onto this bus and you're like, hey, get on my bus, we're going to go for a ride, and you don't know how to drive a bus, you're going to crash
And then all of those people will die.
horribly.
Because you're a fucking idiot for driving a bus.
Don't drive a bus, kids.
Don't drive
Douglas, closing
a bus. Just don't
statement.
go on a bus.
And Doug, I'm going to beg you. I'm going to implore you for like a minute. Just one fucking minute. Don't talk about Fallout.
You're perfectly right.
Well, now
What
he's gonna talk about Fallout.
person would I be
That's
if I
my
discussed
strategy.
anything
Don't talk
about
about the
Fallout?
drugs.
I mean, why would I talk about Fallout in any sense of
Jesus
the
Christ.
word? That wouldn't make sense, right?
Oh God.
Anyway, I digress. So, kids, people, thank you for being a part with us. And when it comes to your creative juices, do what makes you want to work. Because don't think of it just as a hobby. Also think of it as a profession to some degree. Because the only true way you'll be able to give it your all and create something mystical, magical, and something that you want players to enjoy, you have to put every ounce of your soul into this thing. This is literally your child. This is something that you want people to enjoy day in and day out, and that they'll keep enjoying this every time they get a chance to play it. This is one of the main reasons why I've become a game designer, because I want to create something that lives on through the memories of all of us. Again, I've been currently making a project, and it's not easy, let me tell you. But I've made sure every detail, every single piece of mechanics, everything that I've put into this game, I make sure that it gives the maximum amount of fun that can be achieved by the player. And I want to do this because I love you people. You know, people are the reason why games exist. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here talking. We wouldn't have discussions. So keep on being awesome. Keep on being spectacular. Don't do drugs. Unless you're like me, then you drink yourself to death.
God damn it! Almost through the entire thing, Doug. You almost got through the whole thing. I guess good job. And
I'm proud.
from me, if there's one singular piece of advice I can give you, it's not, studying. It's not playing beforehand because sometimes you just have to. It's not even investigating with all of your might. It is learn this one specific thing, the hero's journey. If you learn the hero's journey story arc, you will have the basic building block that every GM needs. And from there, you can grow. Now, I'm not saying that will make you a perfect GM, because it won't. Because you need to add on that foundation. But that is the one thing that every single GM should learn. Because that is every hero's journey.
The
And
journey within your soul.
for the last time, I am Aaron Justin Bryant from Table Knights Entertainment. With me tonight was Alec Leon, Giovanni Perez Barotto, and Douglas Conrado. And guys, will you sign off with me tonight? From all of us here at Table Knights Entertainment, roll on.
Roll on.
Roll on.
Bye.
Damn
Don't
it,
forget.
Gio.
Wait, no, we're still talking. Wait, what am I saying?
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and donate to
Yeah.
Child's Play.
Do
Roll
that
on.
shit! Because people need money to save the poor.
Close it. Close it.
No, we don't want to close it.